Hello and welcome to DawnNews English. Polling has drawn to a close in Punjab's by-elections. 20 seats were up for grabs. Counting has begun. So far what we have seen since morning, no major incident of violence has taken place, which is a good omen. Although PTI chairman Imran Khan, who's also a former prime minister, has levelled serious allegations on the Punjab state's machinery. And we have seen a couple of incidents which has marred the otherwise cordial atmosphere and the arrangement that were made by Election Commission. The arrest of Shehbaz Gill, Imran Khan's chief of staff, from Muzaffargarh has created few eyebrows, but overall what we have seen that the polling has taken in a very peaceful manner. Couple of skirmishes between the activists of rival parties, but that happens. Good thing is no serious incident has taken place. Counting has begun. Election Commission has said that after 6 o'clock channels can actually give the results, the unofficial ones. Obviously we will be knowing the exact situation by midnight tonight. I am joined by Nadia Naqi, my colleague, so I am going to ask her. Nadia, what were you expecting? What were your reservations over this? Because normally by-polls don't gather much attraction, but violence happens, particularly in Punjab.
You know, the kind of focus these 20 seats and these by-elections were getting in the media as well as amongst the political parties, because we saw that both PML-N and PTI, you know, they led very good public rallies, be it Imran Khan's or be it Maryam Nawaz Sharif. Big gatherings like whirlwind, they were just traveling from one place to another. So, you know, you could see that Punjab crowd is absolutely charged. As it is, I always feel that politically, you know, the population in Punjab is more charged as compared to other provinces in Sindh. And I guess, if I'm not mistaken, Mubashir, historically, I've never ever witnessed, in fact, since the time I have stepped into journalism, 20 seats by elections.
Yeah.
You know, this is a big number, and it has to decide the fate of Punjab.
Punjab government, yeah, which is
course,
hanging in balance.
Which is hanging in balance. And therefore, it is also important on two accounts. For the former Prime Minister who's ousted, for, you know, how much of his narrative has actually gone down to the people of Punjab. Do they actually believe his ouster, what he says? You know, he's always talking about this conspiracy against his ouster, and the conspiracy involves a lot of state machinery from within Pakistan. That's what he feels. You know, and it was started by, he feels that, you know, this was a foreign conspiracy. So whether people actually believe in it, if he's going to win the seats more than PML-N, then of course, you know, you could say that he's been able to gather that, you know, crowd, and that his narrative is actually working for the people of Punjab. As for PML-N, I feel it is very important to win, because, you know, this is a unity government. They need to continue the government. They need a smooth functioning at the federal level. And, you know, in the democratic political history of Pakistan, it's always said that Takht-e-Lahore, whoever is going to be ruling in Punjab shall be ruling at the federal level.
Yes.
So I think it's very important. As for what happened during the day, as you were mentioning, small skirmishes, this kind of violence between political, you know, these clashes between the political workers are a common affair in Pakistan. But on the whole, I would say it was not so bad. So I guess they worked better than before.
But yeah, we haven't noticed or witnessed or reported even any serious incident of violation of election laws or rigging, if you say so, which is very common allegation. But now, since polling has drawn to a close, former Prime Minister Imran Khan has tweeted. Earlier he was tweeting that he is very pleased that a large number of people are coming out, and he also called upon the women folk to, you know, come out and vote for PTI. Counting has just begun, yet he has levelled allegations that Punjab government and the state machinery has used tactics to rig the elections, meaning thereby that somewhere he's sensing that PTI may not be getting the seats that are required to form government in Punjab, and vice versa, PML-N looked very confident,
Right.
and obviously they need to grab max 9 seats to make the government, to be in the government again. And yesterday there was a setback when one of their MPs, Sharakpuri.
Oh, don't talk about
Oh,
him.
yeah.
You know, the reason why I say is
know,
because,
yeah.
you know, he's so indecisive, just like Cancerians
Yeah.
are. I always feel Cancerians are indecisive. Like he met Hamza Shehbaz Sharif,
Yes.
who was the CM at that time,
Yeah.
because right now, you know, you could say that
Yeah.
his fate is also hanging in balance. He met him. And Hamza Shehbaz, I clearly remember on record saying, Sharpuri Saab is with us.
Yes.
And suddenly I see him going away. So I thought, now what happened? What on earth happened? And then this, you know, this audio leak that happens, which supposedly, you know, you can't say that it's an, you can't alleged audio leak. It is now authentic because Sheikh Rashid has accepted that this is his voice in this audio.
Yeah, but how can you trust Sheikh Rashid with these kind of audio tapes? I mean, he's always been a person who can't be trusted in a manner. I mean, he said, he told that guy,
he was
you know,
joking.
yeah, I personally think that he was joking, but in the flow of things, obviously it is being taken as a hint that, you know, he's trying to imply that Sharakpuri Saab has taken money, which may be the case, but we don't know yet. But Sheikh Rashid was very quick to issue a rejoinder, saying that, you know, he respects Sharakpuri, and obviously
but Sharakpuri doesn't respect him.
Yeah.
I mean, in the video
Sharakpuri Saab doesn't respect his party or any party to be to that extent. But what has happened today will, if I mean, counting has just begun, we can't
really say what's going to happen,
any result, but it seems like that PML-N is having an upper hand as far now. But let's see if PTI gets 5 to 7 seats or maybe more.
Right.
So their whole narrative of that rigging has taken place will be diluted. But if they don't get more than 5 seats, then you will see a huge hue and cry from PTI saying that state machinery has been used by PML-N. As far as I'm concerned, if you see historically, yes, it happens in Punjab,
right,
where all the things or arrangements are made in a manner, and obviously it goes to the polling stations as well, where you see PTI workers voting, where you would spot more PTI workers. Deliberately the voting process is slowed,
right,
and where PML-N workers are there, they will sort of expedite the things.
But
so,
such complaints weren't apparent all day today, that, you know,
yes,
the voting is going slow in a particular polling station.
That's what I'm saying, that no reported, no such incident has been reported to Election Commission as per now. I mean, Election Commission would obviously issue a detailed statement about the elections later tonight. But again, rigging elections are very serious, because former Prime Minister Imran Khan has also mentioned stamping of votes. So for stamping of votes, you need to come up with either evidence where it has happened, because all the channels, we've got like 40 channels who've got reporters everywhere.
The political agents are there.
The political agents are there. So I think what I missed in these elections is if had there be election monitoring organization like FAFN, you know, monitoring it, they could have had come up with an initial statement about the polling process, whether it was transparent, whether it was less transparent, and what were the complaints that had come so far.
Exactly, an independent body.
Yes, in the absence of that, Now it'll be PTI versus the Election Commission, PTI versus PML-N, PML-N versus the Election Commission. You never know, because counting has just begun.
But what was interesting, Mubashir,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to cut you, but you know, you mentioned of the former Prime Minister tweeting that, you know, today Punjab government has brazenly violated the Supreme Court orders and election rules by openly using all government state machinery. And he tweeted this at 5:03 p.m. Just when 5 o'clock the polling finishes, it stops, and 5:03 he talks about election rigging. Also speaks volumes of the fact that probably he feels that he's not going to grab the seats that he thought he would.
Well, yeah, everyone would know that had there been a good turnout at polling stations, it would have benefited PTI. But that had not been the case. I mean, initially we've seen reports that there was a pretty decent turnout in the morning, and we've seen all festivities, like it's a Sunday, so brunches were thrown to voters for a change. So there were good atmosphere ahead of the polling when the polling was about to begin. But after that, we hadn't seen crowd build up, which means that the whole narrative of the conspiracy did not go to the local level, because they are provincial seats, they are not national seats. So people in Punjab, or for that matter in any province, would vote to the candidates to resolve their local problems in terms of since in the absence of local bodies elections, you will have to go to your provincial representative for redressal of your problems. Had it been a road that needs to be built, or a sewage system, or lack of water supply, or anything, you name it. So I think all politics is local. And one more thing, that in Punjab in particular, that's been the case, I think, rest of the country as well, but in Punjab people vote for Baradari system. You have to have Baradaris rather than political parties. Just imagine that the 4 seats up for grabs in Lahore were PTI turncoats. Now they are contesting 3 of them, not Aleem Khan, barring Aleem Khan. They are now contesting on the ticket of PML-N. So had people were concerned about changing loyalties, they would have rejected those people. So we haven't seen or sort of witnessed any such thing. So which means that
people would still go for that Baradari system, that tribal system.
Exactly.
So something interesting that would be the turnout, as you spoke about, and I think now it's going to be consolidated about how much the turnout was. I remember, when by-election in Karachi took place on one of the constituency, the turnout was less than 10. It was extremely low. But sometimes makes you feel that probably the voter is no more interested in election, no more interested because of the reasons that you just mentioned, that their issues are not being resolved, or they don't believe, or it's a by-election. Whereas in this case, I think both political parties, because the actual the competition was between PML-N and PTI, I feel the turnout, the political agents know of their constituency, how many of them have come out to vote. So this is for the political parties later on to do that soul searching and find out that if PML-N voter did not come out, why it did not come out. Was it because of the rising inflation? And also probably PTI's narrative could be the reasons. And for the same sake, I think for PTI, now one thing I noticed in PTI's political campaigning was that they had to actually, Mubashir, bring people from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa or Islamabad, even for PML-N, but on a larger scale for PTI, which means that in Punjab they have a very weak ground in terms of their party structure, which needs to be organized. We know that Hamad Azhar, we know that Yasmin Rashid, Fawad Chaudhry was there, but there is something that is missing in PTI's internal structure in Punjab, which happens to be the most important for any political party that needs to set their mark at the federal level. Also, the interesting thing that I think is, What did People's Party do? Were they able to actually bring their voter out to vote for PML-N? I doubt that.
Well,
maybe in Multan,
no,
because I happened to speak to people in Multan, and even the PML-N and the People's Party both were saying that as far as Multan is concerned, they've really worked very hard to support PML-N. But for a People's Party voter, it is so difficult to vote for PML-N because, historically, these two parties are competitors, they are rivals.
You're right.
So that will also show how many seats PML-N actually loses, because they were thinking of grabbing about 16 very comfortably.
Yeah. Well, I doubt that this would happen, but even if they grab anything more than 10, they're safe. But we have to also talk about the surprise, which was touted as TLP,
the distracting factor.
Yeah, exactly, gate crashing the party. That didn't happen as we speak. Obviously, counting will determine that, whether that was the case. But TLP was touted as to be ruining both, affecting PML-N and PTI.
Exactly. So
what we had seen so far, that their camps were not as organized or full of voters who would vote for TLP. Will TLP actually mark their presence with these elections is yet to be seen as the results would come in. But for now, it seems like that the threat of TLP emerging as a third force in Punjab has receded. So it is going to be
was
PML-N
it made to recede?
Well, I don't know. But
because there's a lot that goes into TLP, right?
But TLP is designed to spoil the party.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that happens now or not. But rest assured, it'll be PTI versus PML-N in Punjab for at least a decade from now, because we've seen PPP wiped out from that. We've seen TLP not getting to an extent of being a challenge to PML-N, which is right wing, but TLP is super right wing. So I think these elections results will also determine the fate of TLP, PML-N, PTI, because if PML-N loses, if a surprise comes, then as you said initially, that it's going to affect the government at center as well. And it's going to lead to early elections perhaps.
You're absolutely right.
Everyone's looking at it, even the establishment, even the businessmen, even everyone was looking to these elections.
So which are those constituencies that you're really looking at, that you want to see that what the result is going to be?
I think Lahore. Lahore is
for me, Multan.
Multan.
I want to see whether
Shah Mahmud Qureshi's son.
I just want to see that so much has gone into that electioneering, and Shah Mahmud Qureshi Saab is like really confident that Zain is going to win. And something was floating on social media, I think 2 days earlier, about those the money business and giving a motorbike or something of that sort. I don't know how far that is true, but so much is happening on social media. You really have to see that what is authentic and what's not authentic. But he's really invested, and the reason why I feel that is an important constituency, because Shah Mahmud during his campaign had been talking about Jahangir Khan Tareen in a very like a hush-hush manner, saying that I don't even want to take a name. And those people are gone, and he was very confident that Zain is going to win. Let's see what's going to happen, because even PML-N has really worked hard in Multan.
And finally, our dear friend Shehbaz Gill gotten arrested, and now the government is claiming that he has been arrested on complaint of Election Commission, because he was walking with some guards who were having FC written on their shoulders, and later turned out as the provincial minister and the federal interior minister, Rana Sanaullah and Ataullah Tarar earlier, both said that those FC guards were not the FC guards as such, were not from FC, and they were from a private security agency.
Okay.
So we don't know, but arresting Shehbaz Gill is like shooting on your foot. I mean,
but
Shehbaz
why?
Gill
There's
doesn't
Section
have
144.
No, it is, but It
Show of
was for the
arms?
government to ensure that they could have, you know, detained the guards, or sort of, you know, detaining Shehbaz Gill on saying that he is possessing ammunition or a gun for that matter, will make Shehbaz Gill more sort of popular.
And PTI more stronger in terms of, you know, alleging that, you know, this is.
It gave a chance to Imran Khan is saying that they are arresting our leaders. I mean, Shehbaz Gill as a leader. Well, I think this is so far from now from Dawn News English. We're going to be updating as the results coming in. Thank you for watching.